Hi, guys.
Hi, Zach.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to figure out how to turn my head and look at the camera at the same time. It's very disorienting.
You can't do it. It's terrible. It's
Yeah,
hard.
welcome to my world. I hate it.
My brain doesn't do it.
So are you guys, are y'all the type to like cover your faces on Zoom? Like hide your own camera on Zoom?
Oh, no. I like to see exactly what I'm looking like, so I know if I'm a train wreck or if I'm looking all right.
Ah, gotcha. You wanted to make
I didn't
sure
know that was an option, so.
I didn't either, honestly.
Okay, so you can hot tip, you can hide your own picture. It's in the corner of your picture of your frame.
Gonna have to keep that one in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have you on today, Zach, because we wanted to talk a little bit about. I keep hitting the brick wall behind me, and it's waving around. It's really distracting. My apologies if my rainbow bricks are waving. But Zach, we wanted to bring you on to talk because I was reading an article. I was reading on a website that somebody turned me on to, a recovery community website that was talking about recovery in the time of coronavirus and how this is a difficult time for everyone, but and how this is this problem is exacerbated, or rather, the existing a person in recovery is perhaps having even a more difficult time. And I wonder, if you might talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that is a pretty standard thought about recovery is addiction itself is a disease of disconnect. It's a disease that's born out of feeling disconnected from people and things and communities and cultures. So one of the first things you're taught when you're entering recovery is to find connections, find groups to be a part of, find people to plug into, find a community that feels like yours. And that's kind of the lifeblood for a lot of people in recovery. But when you suddenly take away the ability to plug into a community, at least in person, you're given a whole new challenge of overcoming how to separate yourself from that disconnection and how to keep yourself moving in the path of connection while you can't physically connect with people.
I was reading a little while ago. Actually, I have no idea how long ago it was at this point because quarantine time has no meaning. But it was about how what we are experiencing, what the world is experiencing, is grief. That we are grieving the loss of our life in the before times, if you will, and that everyone is going through that, and that I can't imagine that going through grief for a person in recovery would ever be easy. But this one seems you can't get away from it.
Right. I mean, it's not one of those things that like you can take a pause from the grief you're experiencing. I know a lot of people, a really common coping mechanism right now during quarantine is somebody getting to have a drink, or if we're going to be honest, smoke a bowl, all of these sorts of things. Like, that's a really nice way for a very neurotypical person to take a break and give themselves that space they need from the grief they're experiencing. But someone in recovery doesn't have that tool available. So it just becomes a big exercise in like rewinding yourself to the beginning of your recovery and remembering like, okay, what were my really basic tools that I used to overcome that day, that first week, your first month, your first 6 months sober. Those are kind of the tools we want to fall back on. For me, it's a lot of reaching out to people. I probably annoy many of my friends because when I start to feel in my head in any way, shape, or form, I will just start reaching out randomly and starting a random conversation that seems seemingly innocuous to anyone else. But for me, that's my lifeline of finding that connection that I need to remember I'm not alone. This is not a solo journey, that I still have community. It's just in a different way right now.
So
I could just listen to you talk all day, Zach. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
So we're definitely going to have you back in a little bit for another segment, but I wanted to first of all celebrate that you came, I think, just recently, and during quarantine, you had a little bit of an anniversary, right? Didn't you?
I did, absolutely. April 2nd, just after the world started exploding, I celebrated 4 years clean and sober, which I'm pretty darn proud of, and especially any of you watching who might have known me 4+ years ago. You know just how big of an achievement that is, because I was lucky to have 4 minutes before April 2nd of 2016. So, I mean, it's kind of a big deal for me. I did see a great meme that I want to share with anyone who's watching. I saw a meme that said in a recovery group that I'm in, that anyone staying sober in 2020 should be able to count this year as 2 years in their recovery count, because it's definitely a labor of love to keep substances away from an addict right now.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. These are. Is there a particular resource that you might suggest to somebody or an organization to turn to online if people were looking for something? Just keep me on the spot. Just wondered.
Sorry, guys. I'm doing a broadcast show. Give me a second. Sorry, the restaurant is actually active right now. For me, I personally try to fall into any 12-step community that I can find, whichever one feels the most applicable to who you're searching for. If alcohol is your demon, I always am a big fan of AA, but if that doesn't feel right, there's also NA, Narcotics Anonymous. There's CMA, Crystal Meth Anonymous. It's a very good fellowship for a lot of the gay community who might really, truly need that kind of support. There's everything. Celebrate Recovery, Smart Recovery. There's a wonderful resource in Harrisburg, well, actually in Lemoyne. It's called Just for Today Recovery Services. It's very much a one-stop shop for anyone who wants to make a change and doesn't know how to. The people there are lovely and wonderful and welcoming, and they will help you find what you need next. They will help you with your journey. If anyone's struggling, reach out. The recovering community is very open to doing whatever we can to help somebody make the next right choice in their life.
That's wonderful.